Phoenix family, welcome back for another episode of the Phoenix Fast Break podcast. Got a few things in store today because we had the double header last round, which is exciting. Bye next round, so there won't be any previews today, but that's all good because we got highlights. Exclusive interview with Erin Bollmann as well, so yeah.
Game 1 for the women's was, of course, at Clippers Stadium against the Northside Wizards. It was the game of the week on KO, so you can go back and watch that if you want to. Unfortunately, it was a loss, 65-74.
Yeah, so the girls played in front of a sold-out crowd, which is really good for them. You know, getting the viewership up is what we want at the Phoenix games. Mm-hmm. The starting lineup was interesting, right? Because obviously, when you're starting a lineup, you want to have players that play as a team, right? And you want leadership. So their starting lineup was Kayla Matthews, Izzy Palmer, Erin Bollmann, Amy Brown, and Maya Price, right? Mm. Now, first thing I think is that's a small lineup because, you know, Amy's probably going to be running your 4. Yeah. And I think the reason they had her out there was because of her leadership, you know, first few games, getting the girls into it. Yeah. However, was it the right choice?
Well, that did kind of show up. Our defensive rebounds were quite lacking, and I think that was probably because of size. So, the starting lineup, I would say would have an effect. If it was a bit bigger, those might have gone our way a bit more.
Yeah, so not saying Amy was a bad choice. Like, she did have a great game and all, but for rebounds, I probably would have put in either Mia Parsons or Grace Rogers in. Yeah. So that's all good. We'll see what happens next round. That was our first take of the game, I guess. Erin Bollmann had a good game with 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. So that's good for her, getting her points up early in her steals. Maybe she goes for another DPOY. We'll see what happens.
And Izzy Palmer played her first game, and she had an outstanding 13 points and 4 rebounds. Mm-hmm. She seemed to just get better and better over the weekend.
Yeah, and although the girls' rebounding was quite poor, there was a player that stood out in the rebounding section, and that was Emma Pove. So Emma's first game, she had 3 points only, but she had 9 rebounds, which was really influential for the game. Yeah, definitely. And she was probably the main reason why the girls were still in it by the end of the game. So the Phoenix did have a game plan at the start of the game, which was to double team Nadine Payne, which is one of Northside's bigger players and better scorers. So basically, whenever Nadine got the ball in the post, she'd get double teamed, forcing her to pass. Now, Northside didn't start off the game shooting very well, so the double team did work. But then once Northside started getting to their rhythm, a lot of their shooters got more open, and Phoenix had to come out of that double team into just a normal man or zone, depending, because they did change it up a bit. Anything else?
Yeah, it was a slow-ish start for Maya Price. We did see that with Shannon last season, so that is obviously normal as her first game. Hopefully she can have a bit more of a role in future games.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler here. She had 8 points in the first game, 15 in the second. So 15 is not a bad score, but she did look a little bit like she's still getting used to Australian basketball, you know, because it is different. Yeah. You know, it's quite fast, quite physical. But, yeah, hopefully Maya can come in and put in some more big points for us.
Yeah. A big threat to us that game was Kalijah Dean. Mm-hmm. She's a Northside player. She had 18 points.
Yeah, so her debut for Northside from Ipswich. Yeah, so 18 points. And honestly, watching the game, a lot of her points, assists, and all that came off of an on-ball. Because basically, Kalijah is a shooter, so we had to go over the screen, right? But then that let her get downhill. And they were kind of in a half drops, half switch coverage, which basically means the person that's guarding the on-ball, the screener, drops down a little bit and helps out while the ball handler's defender comes over the screen. Yeah. So basically, Kalijah got downhill, either pulled up for a midi or swing it back out to one of the shooters. So, although the drops coverage was probably the right play, it could have been changed a couple of times as well. But honestly, I'm not angry at that choice.
Grace Ellis had 15 rebounds.
Wow.
12 were offensive rebounds.
That's crazy.
So, I'm assuming lots of second chance points.
Yeah, that's probably...
Which was where we got caught up.
Yeah, so... Honestly, that probably... looking at the game, you know how we were double teaming Nadine?
Yeah.
That let Grace get in the paint because it was late box outs, that kind of stuff. So, fair enough for her getting that 15 rebounds, but 12 being offensive is kind of crazy. Like, that's the most I've ever seen in a game. On to the men's first game against Northside as well. It was a 6:30 game, also in front of the sold-out crowd. The energy was there most of the time. I'm happy with it. We won the game 89-81. Probably closer than we thought was going to happen. However, the boys, they always looked comfortable. Northside just went on a few little runs, and that brought them back in the game, I guess. And especially in that second half, because they switched some things up that went their way for sure.
Yeah. Our starting lineup was Eric, Luke Anderson, new player, Jamal, Darnell, and Nelson. So Luke had a huge first game. He had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks.
Wow.
Which is crazy numbers, just getting used to Australian basketball. And you could tell he was hyped. He was dapping up everyone after the game.
Yeah, he definitely wants to be here to win. Yeah. Like, he's here. He's got good vibes. You know, we interviewed him in the preseason, of course. Great guy. Hope for the best for him, and hopefully the Phoenix can get a few wins with him. Quinton Dove on the other team. So he's been imported for this season for Northside. He had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 0 assists. So obviously we know what his role is. Scoring. So 33 points, big night from him. They had Luke Anderson on him because he was playing a bit of a bigger role. He looked like one of the bigger players out there. But he was hitting a few threes and stuff. But I also think some of the shots he took were a bit forced, which was good from the Phoenix. But, 33 points. He's definitely going to be a threat this season, so we'll watch out for that later on.
So, the biggest momentum shift in the game, which I think brought Northside a lot closer, happened in the second half.
Yeah, they definitely came back, for sure.
So, by the end of the first half, we were leading by 17. It was 56-39. And as they went into the second half, we did notice they switched their defensive pressure. So, in the second quarter, they were in what I would say was a 1-2-2 press. So pretty much, it was more just containing and trapping on the wings, but it obviously did cause more turnovers, and they got more points off of that. In the second half, there was a momentum shift, and Phoenix went back into a half-court man, which led Northside to have a big jump in second chance points. So, lastly, in the fourth quarter, there was a big momentum drop in the Phoenix, and they had no fast break points.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think I was looking at the analysis on the NBL One website, and it said that their largest run, so the most points scored consecutively in the fourth quarter, was 3 points.
Yeah.
So, I think Northside did a good job trying to get themselves back into the game, but overall it wasn't enough. On to game 2 for the women's. Away game now, so it was the next night over. It was at Runaway Bay Stadium in Gold Coast, like North Gold Coast-ish. The women's got a win this time. We played against some of our ex-players, Jess Boundy and Emma Benjamin, who were starting, both of them. So, good on them, getting their minutes. I think, looking at Jess, she definitely took a step up for the Seahawks as a star player, I guess you say, as like in the scoring role. I'd say she was inefficient, but the Seahawks are trusting her to hit those shots. Yeah. So she'll probably keep taking them over the season. Izzy Palmer, looking at her game, spectacular. 31 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So great job from Izzy. That's what you want to see.
So obviously we did have a 17-point win. It was 86-69. Erin also had a big game, 19 points, 13 rebounds. So they obviously noticed that they needed to shift that. And 7 assists and 3 steals. So steals again. So Erin is definitely leading the defensive for the team.
Yeah, especially on the perimeter. And I think Maya Price also stood up on the defensive end as well, on the interior defense. She didn't get too many blocks, but she still had a great game just getting stops inside because she was like a brick wall in there.
Yeah.
Like no one got past her.
She was used as the main screener for the pick and roll with Izzy and Erin, and that caused a lot of just quick points turnovers.
Yeah, that's very true with Maya. It was a very physical game, lots of fouls called. Most of them were fair enough, and that led to a couple of our players and a couple of their players getting into foul trouble, like Erin. Amy Brown had a hot start to the game. First 5 points for the Phoenix, so good on her.
Yeah.
You know, still playing and putting good minutes. That's why you have her starting. And the Seahawks were in a 2-2-1 press. So they had 2 players at the front, 2 behind, 1 person at the back. And they were trying to force a turnover by trapping the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. However, with experience like Kayla, Izzy, Erin, we managed to break it pretty easily and overall got us a good win. So good job from the Phoenix in that game, focusing to next round as well.
The men's game was a huge win away from home. It was 102-72.
Wow.
So Phoenix's press worked really well. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of steals. So it was 13, I believe.
Wow.
Whole game.
That's a lot of steals. I think Jamal had 5, Darnell had 4. So that's 9 of the steals already, just right there.
We had Nelson with 18 points. That's a big game from him. 6 rebounds and 4 blocks as well. So he's stepping up on both ends, looks like.
It's just what you get from Nelly. It's pretty consistent from him. And Luke Anderson had another great game with 15 points, 10 rebounds, 1 steal and 2 blocks. So, Luke settled in nicely. It's good to see. Yeah. The Phoenix dominated in all stats pretty much. There wasn't much that they were losing on. And their game plan, I reckon, from what I saw, was to spread the floor. So, 5 out, 4 out, 1 in, that kind of stuff. Overload a side, get it to the other side, and let the guards get to work. Because Seahawks guards at the moment are I'd say quite inexperienced. There's a lot of young talent on the Seahawks. So we just got Deshaun, Darnell, Jamal. They all just got to work on him. Now we have our top 5 highlights for the weekend. So first off, we have Izzy Palmer's hang finish in the Seahawks game. She kind of double clutched, I guess. It was off a steal and one-on-one contested double clutch layup.
Yeah.
Great highlight.
Amy Brown popped an and one mid-range. She was driving in, she put it up, she kind of fell back, got fouled and made it. So it was actually kind of crazy.
Tough.
Kayla Matthews also had a coast-to-coast and one layup.
And Nelson Carla had a big one-handed dunk in the face of the defense after Jamal's flick bounce pass. So that was kind of tough. It was like a one-handed slam, got the crowd going. That was at the Clippers game. So good to see that from Nelly.
And the shot clock was running down on Eric. He drove it into some defense, popped up a 3 and got absolutely fouled, wiped down the floor, and he made the basket.
On to the interview. Now we're going to hear an interview of Erin Bollmann after her Clippers game. So this is in between games.
Hey Phoenix family, we're here with Erin Bollmann after an unfortunate loss against Wizards. Erin, just thoughts on that game?
Yeah, there were amazing things that we did, and just a couple offensive rebounds that didn't go our way, which, again, got them a couple more points than us, but I think we regroup. We have a game tomorrow, so learn from what we can from this game and then move forward.
Yeah. Just on that, how are you guys going to attack the game tomorrow?
Well, we've already had a practice game against this team. So we know their actions, we know what they're looking for, we know the players that they have, but they have some hidden players that are going to come out and play against us. So we just got to stay ready and use today's loss as kind of a fire for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And win it.
It was, I would say, a successful weekend for the Phoenix. We only had 1 loss out of 4 games. The women will just keep building stronger. Izzy Palmer, Erin Bollmann, everyone's just going to keep getting better. The rebounds were getting better all the way in the second game. So yeah, I'm really happy with the Phoenix's performance, and I think Sean will definitely be really happy with the men's.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you guys for listening to the episode. Appreciate the support. Any questions, you can email us, phxfastbreak@outlook.com. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Phoenix Fast Break, out.